What is good, guys? So we're back with another video. I am your host, Sleepy Celestial. Now let's get right into this. So guys, this is part 2 of my video of the Bleach theory. Like I said, looking at the Espada rankings and looking at how the rankings, like I mentioned before, how I think Tite Kubo should give more explanation on the actual ranking and as well as the past Espadas, which this video will focus on the pre-Veron Espada and as well as the other theory, which is Yami. Now, based back looking at the explanation what Ukiura mentioned that he was the only Espada that had a second release. Well, I think this is also debunked because Yami had 2 releases as well. Yami had his first release fighting Renji and Rukia and Chad, and then he went on his second release, which was, I'm guessing, his Sengunta Etapa form as well. So this is his second resurrection. So that will also explain, okay, how come Yami and Ukiura has resurrection releases that has multiplier? Now, even though this fight was fought off screen, besides the first form that Yami had, that still doesn't explain how Yami ended up having 2 resurrection. Now, for one, Yami's resurrection Aaron went from this to then transforming into this like gold like devilish creature, which he fought with Kenpachi and Byakuya. Now, this fight was completely off screen, which I think his second release was pretty cool. He looks like an ape demon some sort, and I think what is the multiplier or the extent of that ability or his release compared to the previous Espada's release that we saw. You know, he went from a caterpillar like creature to then a monstrous, you know, resurrection, and I'm trying to figure out how his multipliers will change based on that resurrection. So I think based on everything, the resurrections of the Espadas, especially for Ukiura and Yami, are not consistent until the explanation of why they could be stronger than the top 3 Espada. I think I went back in the first video, you guys could see that I released it. I mentioned that the top 3 Espadas ranking are actually legit and that they are equivalently stronger than either Ukiura and Yami, because like I mentioned in my first video, if we take the mathematical explanation, which is whole numbers and natural numbers, right? You tend to have numbers that start from 0 to 9 or 1 to 10, which is how the rankings were. But I think when they go in their resurrection form, I think it goes from whole numbers to natural numbers or whole numbers to natural numbers. It could be vice versa, because even Ukiura's second state is stronger than a base of a top 3 Espada, but when he releases his second release, that's when he actually get that amp to be slightly or even equivalent to a top 3 Espada. I know a lot of people do debunks or resurrection, but I'm taking things word verbatim, where it stated that Ukiura showed more feats of any Espada throughout his fight compared to the top 3 Espada. I think the top 3 Espada did not have that much explanation of what they could use, you know, and I think that's a problem as well. Like, I think based on what Zamari said from the manga, Stark started doing the same thing. He started showing, and even for Nell, I think Nell's resurrection had more. It's just that we never got the time to even see that. And I think they should get to a position where they should give us, especially Tite Kubo, should give us more explanation of the original Espadas. Not the ones that you guys see in front of me, but the ones that Adanero was part of. Because from what I heard, what rank Espada 9 was before he stepped down to become Espada 9. I believe Espada 9 was actually Espada 5, and then his ranking got put down. Just like we saw Adanero or Narutora was number 8, and then he got moved up to number 5. So over the years, Ordinary was part of the original Espada, which I think he should release the original ranking. Now I'm thinking, are these Espadas were not influenced by Aizen, and those were already there compared to the Espada? Because how long ago was it when Aizen went to Rikamundo in search of the Espadas? Because that's a time gap that I think they don't explain in the manga nor in the anime. Because how long has Nell been a top 3 Espada? Like, all that plays a part into what I'm trying to explain to you guys. Even the Previron Espadas, right? How come the Previron Espadas, even though they were Espadas, what were their rankings before? Well, that's another question. Like, what were their rankings? We know that Doldoni, from what I heard, was, I'm not sure what rank it was, but whichever one that he was, that will explain what position each of the, like, as a Preveron Espadas were, and how come they were much weaker compared to the Espadas that we currently have. Now, the 3 Bristrias, based on the 1000-Year Blood War arc, they're much stronger compared to the last time we saw them, and they have an ability where they could merge their left arm and recreate Aeon. And from what I heard, they could resurrect multiple times of their arm to recreate the Aeon. So if you look at the aspect of death of each of the Espadas, I also have idea as well, where each Espada has an external or internal pain based on their aspect of death. That will make them stronger or weaker based on their aspect of death. That is something that will lead them to their death or their defeat, right? Like, for an example, Haribel sacrificed all of her fracciones. In the long run, she kind of had to sacrifice herself in a weird way for a path for Aizen to continue the fight. Right, each of the Espada's aspect, I think, plays a huge tie into what their aspect of death could, like, affect them when they're fighting. Like, that is also a multiplier based on their rankings or even their how they fight. So, like I said, what do you guys think about that? And also, guys, I will be kicking off the first episode of the Core 2 right after this, which will be the last 9 days of the world, which is the first episode of Bleach 1000-Year Blood War arc, if I'm not mistaken. And then we will start covering and giving commentary. So thank you guys so much for supporting me throughout the years. And like I promised, and I did say I was coming back, the last 9 days will be coming up right after this. And guys, please, and let's make sure this is gonna be a thing, like and subscribe to this channel, and the more likes that I get, the more I will be more prepared to amp up the Core 2, and as well as get some more feedback on Core 3, so that way I could explain more. I will do a small recap episode about the 1000-Year Blood War arc, and then we're jumping right into Core 2. Okay guys, see you guys soon. Like and subscribe, and our goal is to hit 1K, so let's make this happen. Okay guys, bye bye.